Well, hello. It is Thursday Painting with Shawna. Isn't this great? This week has flown by. I had a really exciting thing happen yesterday. I went out out from my office out to the dining room, and there was this strange bird on the bird feeder. So I went to find my cameras and see if I could get a picture of it, and it was a really black bird, and it was it was a black bird, but I couldn't tell what kind of black bird. And it's like March 2nd, and it's really cold outside, and we don't have birds that are blackbirds here in the winter other than ravens. And it turned out to be a red-winged blackbird that turns out to have been here all winter. I cannot believe it survived our very cold winter. Red-winged blackbirds are out of here at the beginning of August, and you don't see them until the middle of April, and when they start to come back and they're ready to do their thing. Anyway, or the end of April. It's quite, they're actually one of the first ones here back in the spring. And I'm very excited about them coming, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, this little one has survived all winter hanging around with sparrows. Isn't that just the coolest thing? Anyway, we are on to week 2 of the yellow warbler. I'm pretty pleased with that. And step out for a second. The other thing I make sure the sound is on. To let you know that this paintings auction will end on Sunday at 4 p.m. If you're on my newsletter, you'll get a 24 hours notice that it's coming to an end. And the pine grosbeak is all across North America in the boreal forest. And you see them in the winter at your feeders, and they're pretty special. And this is a male. The males are bright red, and the females are more a yellowy green and gray, because they have to hide more, obviously. Anyway, so this is almost done. And tonight I figured out how I'm going to do a little demonstration of the gold leaf, the imitation gold leaf I'm putting on. It's messy, so I'm only going to do one little area for it. But let's just get going. We're here to paint. Okay, here we are. So you can see the progress that I made this week. I thought I'd come in today and I would do the feet and get that sort of going. Other things ended up taking my time. So the very first thing we're going to do is this gold leaf. And having it upright is going to be interesting, but we'll figure it out, and we'll do one piece. So I'm going to start with the adhesive. And I think I'm going to do, I'm looking at which triangle shape to do that won't hopefully be impacted by, so I'm just going to do this triangle shape here. So I'm going to put the adhesive on first. Let it dry for 15 minutes. And then we'll come back and do the gold leaf. So the background of this bird is going to be a bunch of wonky triangles in different directions. And in gold leaf, I tried it with the gold over top of the yellow, the blue, and it looked really great. And I thought with the yellow bird, it would be quite fitting. Okay, I'm going to clean that brush off because adhesive gets really stuck to it. And I've got a container with water and one with soap so that I can clean the brush off and make sure that it stays clean and stays so that I can keep using it. This is one of my watercolor brushes that I sacrificed to the imitation leaf. Okay, getting that clean. Okay, Now, we are ready to go. One of the things, oops. One of the things I want to remind you is I can't actually download at the same time and hear you guys and everything. So leave a comment down below that says hello, and either Facebook or on YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to pull this leaf out so that I'm ready to go when that 15 minutes is up. And there it is, ready to go. But let's get painting. There we go. There we go. Okay, now I need to keep the lid on so that it doesn't dry out too fast here. Okay. We are, I have to come and look at it. Where am I gonna start? I think what I'm gonna do is see what I can do about correcting the little shapes here, and how am I gonna make that look lighter than the blue, because the blue is a very light value. So let's find my brushes here that I'm going to work with. Here's one. There's two. And where's the white handled one? There, and there's the third one. Okay, we're ready to go. Huh. Don't do that. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of that white. I'm going to put a tiny bit of the yellow in with it because I just want it to be brighter. And I'm going to just come onto the edge here and just hit this area that I see that the sun is really washing out on the bird. Let's put that there and see what I think of that. And then I'm going to come back and do some more because I see a couple other areas that have so that same really washed out. And bring that. And I put a little bit of yellow into that white so that it's not just stark white against the yellow. Okay, and come down, comes down this way. Grab a little bit more. We're at almost 4.5 minutes of drying. I don't know if you can see it, but it's still, I can still see that it needs more drying time. So we'll wait that 15 minutes so that we can get to where we want that to be. And then up here, okay. So where else would the I have something for my hand here. There we go. There we go. Now I can dry that off. Now pull this back just a touch because I don't want it quite so light there. I'm seeing another area too along here where it's white. It's where it's got a bit of a highlight to it. So we'll just bring that up there. And here, now there's a surprise where the sun is hitting. It always is a surprise how the planes of feathers and stuff turn and move to capture the light. A little bit too much here, so I'm just going to come in with my favorite Dakota brush and move the paint around. And I see another area right here where it's captured, it's in that bright, bright sunlight. And there shouldn't be another place on this bird because they're all, well, maybe on the foot, but we're going to worry about that later. Okay, there we go. Well, did you guys have any interesting, fun things that happened this week? That red-winged blackbird was certainly a surprise. And we're looking to get some warmer weather, so that will be nice. I'm hoping to get out and photograph, I don't know, ptarmigans or something this week on the weekend. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, I do know that I have some places, I'll put that down here where I can see it, that I'm not 100% happy with the angles here. And so I just want to bring those angles down and see what I can do to get it to where I want it to be. One of the things I'm noticing is there's that underneath here, there's this darker color, darker value, and I just need to shape it the way I'm seeing it. Stand back, look again. It's a little too dark, so I can come in and I can just soften it out and lighten it up by just removing a bunch of paint, and then come in here and get a better value. I'm using a little bit of, I'm using cad yellow medium and a little touch of, that's not dark enough now, and a little touch of burnt sienna, just to sort of make it a little redder and bring that warmth out, because it seems to be warmer there. A little bit more. A little bit of that dark there. It gets too light. Okay, that seems better. And I'm not seeing any of that color anyplace else. So let's just soften it out. Use the one I like to soften with. And we're just going to build it up and build it. Okay, that's a little bit better. Let's get the next yellow. So with the cad yellow medium, I used burnt umber and raw umber 50-50 to be able to darken it down and still keep it within the family of the cad yellow medium. So that's the combination. And it makes the yellow look realistic. Ah, there we go. I got a fair amount done the other day when I was in here. Oh, we are 10 minutes. What are we looking at here? Is it tacky? Yeah, you know what? I think it's tacky. I think we can do our gold leaf, which is going to make a total mess. That's one of the things I've learned very quickly, that it's a messy, messy thing. So here I go. I don't know if there's a difference to the sides. Well, whatever. We'll put it in place. I've got a really soft brush that I'm going to just touch it down with. And it still is bent. Oh, I just thought I was touching it down and it seems to be coming apart right away. Right, touch it down. And then I can just pull everything around it off pretty well. Put that back in place so that I can use it later, because later this evening I'm hoping to have this painting done to put out tomorrow. Okay, so let's just carefully just touch it down, and then we're going to brush it away. And you can see why it's all messy. It just brushes away in little flecks. And there is the first shape done. So those triangles will be all over. I'm going to try and sweep this off into my hands and put it into the garbage so that it's not getting in any place else I don't want it to. I generally don't do, I'm not going to do this kind of work in my studio. Yeah, there you go. So now you can see what I'm going to do, and I'll do that all the way along the back. There's all sorts of triangles intersecting in behind the bird and around the bird. So it'll be a really interesting background. Ooh, and it's all shiny. Ooh. Yep, indeed it's shiny. Okay, now. What's the next thing to do? Let's get the nuances in here done up. I can see that I haven't really grabbed this area nicely. I don't have that showing up really nicely. So I'm just going to bring a little brush in with some variations of yellow and see if that's not light enough. So my values that I'm working with are really, I've gone down from value 9 through to value 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 to value 3. I didn't think I needed anything more in value-wise. Bring it in and bring that around. Bring in my brush to just touch it and make it blend out so that it's not quite so, yeah, there we go. Okay. There's some form happening. It's all through these little tweaks that we create the sense of form in the bird. And we just have to be slow and careful and mindful while we're doing it. And I stand back and I do a lot of this little bit of blending to make it fit in. And it pulls some of the paint off. Okay, there we go. Because we seem to have some reflective light. Somewhere the light is shining back into the bottom of the bird. There's direct light on the bird, and then there's this indirect light, this reflective light that's in this area, and that's how form is created. Okay, bring a combination of those two. Okay, here we're going to bring that around like that and up here, and I'm going to just touch it and soften it so the yellow is there but not quite so. Okay, and then we're going to take a little bit of that yellow. It's value 6 that I'm working in. And we're going to bring it, whew, that's too light. So let's just dry it off. Bring in the brush. Ah, that's perfect actually. And we have these feathers that are being blown by the wind, and it's kind of creating interesting, you know, feathers coming off of the bird, the chest feathers. I'm going to come and soften the edge, just soften it and blend it in. Okay. And I'm going to come in and just sort of pull those back a little bit because I don't want them to be blobby. There. Oh, that looks more feathery. Whew. There we go. I can see that we need to bring that up. Bring this up a little bit. And just move the paint around carefully. Move it around. Stand back, look, and I can see that it's working. I still need a little bit more light there. I see that is a little bit more lighter, and so what I think I'm going to do is bring in that value 9, and I'm going to bring it to this darker yellow, and I'm just going to create a color that's sort of hopefully where I need it to be. A little lighter, a little bit whiter and lighter, because I'm going to move it out, and the white is more opaque, and yeah, the white is more opaque, so it's sort of standing out a little bit more. There we go. Okay, I like that. I'm just going to move around the bird because there are different places that the bird is standing out, and that's what I do at the end, is I move around the bird and I just make subtle changes. So I know that's feathers, and I can see the feathers sort of bent a little bit, capturing some of that light. So trying to create some interesting textures there. Okay, let that dry. So write in the comments below what the temperature at your place is. Hey, that's like a big thing here now, with looking at other people's temperatures that are warmer. An artist that I follow started painting daffodils today, and he only paints from life because spring has sprung in the UK. How fun is that? I mean, honestly, that is just way fun. Makes me want to go and find some daffodils and paint them, because it's all the same colors I would be using on the yellow bird. And I do like painting. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, let's get some of that yellow here and run it right along the edge here and bring it in and around. I will do a darker yellow onto it, but I just want to get that shape sort of standing out and looking like it actually is happening on the bird. What do we think? Okay, I can see I need to soften here a little bit, but I went in a little bit too much, so I'll just push it back a little bit, just soften it. Okay. Okay. Some interesting colors happening here. I'm I'm seeing a little bit of this sort of burnt sienna and the yellow together here as it comes up. I will have to finalize this with the blue of the paint, and I'll do that before I do all of this, because I didn't draw in all of the triangles to meet the bird yet, because I didn't want to lose the pattern. Okay, and then we have this little flush of light here that I'm seeing. Whew, that's way too much paint. Let's blend it out and make it disappear and soften it a bit. What do we think? Okay, and we're going to come in and we're going to remove some of that because I don't want to lose that. Okay, so now we've got some form happening. I've been working on videos for my YouTube channel, and I'm not quite ready to sort of send you guys all over there. You can go if you want. I don't have enough content up, but I'm working on it. And the thing I've been working on is creating a sphere, and it took 4 takes to get the video to where I'm pleased with it. So that was interesting. It is a thing of patience, this. But I really wanted to, because when I teach and I do a sphere, I do it really quickly because I want people to paint. I don't want them to watch me for an hour and a half or an hour building a sphere. I want them to spend the hours building the sphere. Not the spear, the sphere. So I just had to slow down, take my time, and plan it really well, and then it was successful this morning. So I was happy about that. I'm working away on other videos still. The first week of the month is the time of the month that I want to be working on videos, and then have time to just do editing of videos. So we'll see how this all goes. It's an adventure. If you had a question you wanted me to do a video of, what would it be? Leave a comment below and give me ideas on what you think you could use for ideas for painting, or a skill, or something you've got questions about. Then I can put that in the hopper, in the idea hopper. I've got, I've sort of planned 3 or 4 months out because I'm kind of just do that. Okay, this little bit of darkness here, I've got a little bit dark, but by the time I pull that paint back a little bit, oops, no, too much. Make sure the brush is dry, come in and shape it. There we go. That's more what I'm looking for. That shape there. Come back and look, and then soften a little bit more. There we go. Needs to be a little flatter still, a little straighter. So let's straighten it out just around here. We'll just straighten that out. It's a little wider. Okay, that's looking better. So if it's anything about drawing, about watercolor painting, about you have questions about acrylic painting or painting, you know, whatever, I paint most everything except for the human form. I have done a couple of sculpture faces, but I haven't done enough human form that I can say confidently I could teach you how to do the human form. That's not going to happen. I'm going to have to I'd have to do a lot more training, and I have friends who do amazing, amazing human form images. So when I'm looking and I'm squinting, what I'm seeing is it looks like right in here it's a little yellower, like lighter. So I'm just going to bring in a lighter yellow, a value 7, 8, 6, a value 6 in here. And I just want to lighten it up a bit along this edge here and pull it out, and then put my finger in there to sort of pull some of that paint out. I'm just slowly building up. Oh, nope, that's the wrong place. Nope, that's too dark. Funny. I'll take it off the wrong place. Don't want that there. So I'll just take that off. And then I'm going to bring in that lighter value, just a touch lighter. And bring it out and around. So if you have any questions and ideas for videos, I would really appreciate that. Okay. Now I have to look in that area and let it dry first, but I want to come in and see that if there's some rounding happening more than what I've got right now, because it looks pretty flat, and it may well be a little bit flat. I don't see that it is, but there you go. I am going to come in and correct this shape. I see that it comes down further, just a little further. Move back. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's look at this wing here. It's darker towards closer to the body of the yellow warbler, as you much expect it to be, because it would be, oh, that's not darker. That's not going to do what I need it to do. There we go. Because the yellow warbler's body would be completely covering the light. So you would think it should be darker towards the edge, but there would be all this indirect light that's happening around, because the sky circles the earth, and there is this indirect light that happens, and it creeps in at the edges here. So we're just going to go another value lighter. I have to write my values down. And just lighten it up just along this edge where that light is coming in. That indirect light is impacting the tip of this wing. Just to give it a little hint of that, just a little bit more. So next week, or the end of this week, watch for an announcement. I will, on probably Saturday, sit down and figure out birds for the next week, and we'll do another vote. I'm thinking I'm just going to look in pictures that I've taken in March. So that'll be ptarmigans and redpolls and birds that are around at this time of the year. There are other birds, but I just don't get to see them very much. I am going to go cruise around, because I hear that the, come and straighten this out here, that the waxwings, the Bohemian waxwings, are still in town. So that's pretty cool that we have enough berries to keep a flock of them happy in town, because they do eat a lot of berries to sustain themselves. They are definitely sugar nuts. Put a little bit more of that light in here, building up carefully. There, that looks good. I like that. I see that there's some light here. I think that's where I'm missing the light. So let's grab some of this value, this whatever the value is. I gotta write my values down. When I'm doing my painting videos, I do my values so that I can remember them. Okay, that's good. And it's just like there's some reflective light in here. Like it's just not that light, but it's just kind of there, giving it dimension. That sort of indirect light is in there. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. And it's definitely, this is the darker area, which is the terminus line of the, when you have a rounded form, there's a point where the light cannot strike any further. And it's a hard line. It's really quite fascinating. Oh, that's too dark. You don't want it that dark. So I'm going to take two values and put them together. And then put them here and have it. And then have a little bit of that there. And a little bit of that right in here. As it kind of goes under. And that has to be softened out. So I can kind of see the color but not have it. Okay, all that softened out too much. I haven't had a chance to start my big painting that I was all excited about. It's in here behind me. The board is right there, all prepped, ready to go. But these videos are just taking the time that they're taking. That is way too dark. Let's lighten that up. Put a little bit of lighter paint on top. Blend it in. Let some of that darkness shine through, but not so much. That's better. Okay, now we're going to come to the down here, and I see that there is some bright areas, but there's some of that sun being captured on just this part of the tail. So I'm just going to blend it in and give it that dimensionality. So here is a really bright area, a brighter area. There's the value 7 to lighten it up a little bit. And then it's almost like I'm seeing a warm, really warm, more towards the to the red. There's a little bit of that yellow that is more towards the red. I'm going to take a little bit of that burnt sienna and I'm going to just put it in with some yellow. And nope, not enough burnt sienna. You have to move carefully with it. You don't want too much and you don't want not enough. And just put in some of that. Nope. Maybe it needs to be more in the pure, less. Maybe that's where I need it to be. So it just comes around. And I'm just going to touch the edges. And I can see that it still needs more light in here. It's not light enough. So I'll just take some of that value 9 and value 8. And value 8 is the pure paint, and bring it in and lighten it up a bit. And then I can put in that pure paint over top of it and it will have enough light to do a bit of a glaze over it. Okay, and it comes up to here. Oops, turn my brush so I get some paint. Okay. Let's get some of that very light yellow to put along the edge here, because I can see that it's lighter, but it's still quite yellow in here, and then it's down to that white. Okay. Watch my cord. Don't want to trip over it myself. Stay down. Okay. Where are we at? You know, I think it would be interesting to start to get these shapes in here. And that is definitely burnt sienna with a little bit of, I'm going to bring the chroma down a bit with a neutral gray and see if that's going to get me where I want to get to without doing too much. And bring the value down a little bit. And I'm mixing this with my brush, my little brush that I have. I'm just mixing small amounts because I want to be able to control it. Now that's too light. Yep. You know what it looks like on my palette and what it looks like on the paint is very interesting. Thought it looked way too dark, and then when I get it up there, it actually probably was closer to being right there. So we're going to bring, even could be even a little darker yet. Okay, see if we can get this going the right direction here. Yeah, there we go. And I can see that it sort of trails off. It's there, but it's not quite so... Oh, yeah. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Oh, I can't believe that we're already 40 minutes into our the live stream. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, we're going to come in with that shape, and there's another shape here, and I see there's a shape here, and I also see that I need to get that yellow to be a little brighter there. So I'm just going to bring in a tiny bit of that brighter yellow, way too much, but I'm just going to push it around until it gets to where I want it to be. There we go. And I can see that it comes here. Push it around till it's where I want it to be. Yes, yes, yes. It's a little bit too bright, so I'll bring down the next value. And we will see how we do here. So last night was the first night I got together with my girlfriend since Omicron arrived in the north. It's been 2 months since I've seen anyone, just hiding away, hoping to avoid it. So far it worked. I mean, it worked because if you hide away and you see nobody, it's amazing how that works. I'm hoping everybody else is doing all right. I know that more and more of the restrictions are being lifted, which somehow worries me a little bit, but you know, there I am. What can I do? I just will come and paint. Okay. There's that, and here's another shape there. Okay. I'm going to continue on with these red shapes, these stripes that are happening on the bird. I'm just going to soften the edges a little bit so they're not quite so hard before they totally dry. There, that's better. So in the spring they have this beautiful reddish plumage on their chest that is just gorgeous. And all these little variations of information and Look at me, I'm so pretty. And only the yellow warblers have this. The other warblers have different setups and different ways of doing things. And we do get yellow warblers, we get orange crowned warblers that look like yellow warblers. They have a little bit of orange on their head. We get, I've seen blackpoll here. I got a picture of one. I didn't know what it was when I took a picture of it, but I do now. And we get myrtle ones, or the yellow rump warblers, which are really pretty. And with their black and white and they're quite, and there are little bits of tufts of yellow on them. They come such a distance to come here. And it just amazes me that they make it all that distance. And I know there's all sorts of treachery along the way, that difficult places, everything from chemicalized seeds, if they're eating them, that the farmers are putting out because it's got that, the one that Europe has banned, but Canada hasn't quite figured out how to ban it yet. And when a little bird gets a hold of a seed that's encased with that, it will drop weight really fast. And when they're little, it doesn't take much weight to slow them down. And they actually will end up having to stay an extra couple of days to regain the weight. So it's really a difficult thing for the birds to have those seeds encased. And it's not like the farmers are thinking, oh, I'm going to damage the birds. They're just thinking this is convenient. But yeah, our birds face a lot of treachery from come in and shape that a little rounder. That's a long journey. And then it's a long journey back. They spend more time there than they spend here. But we get to hear them sing, and we get to hear them do all manners of things. I've seen them build a nest and get their stuff for their nest, and I have to say, the marvel to me is the house sparrows and how they survive here. We have another month before we can go owl hunting, because we need the roads to start to melt so that the so that the rodents will go close to the road because it's warmer and they can get food and stuff. But we're a month from that yet. The Snow King Castle is open. I haven't been down there yet, but I saw on pictures on Facebook that somebody did a great gray owl as one of the snow sculptures just on the wall. So I'm going to go and find that and take a picture of it. Yeah, March is upon us, and the sun, oh my gosh, it's now up past 6 o'clock at night, or just about 6 o'clock at night. This is when it feels like it just really starts to get going, and we get more and more light, and it's just so beautiful. And the light is really clear. It's a great time to see northern lights. Because the skies tend to be clear and the light is, you know, it's still dark enough. I should probably mix a bigger amount of this than having to come and keep mixing little amounts of it, but there you go. I'm not doing that, so. Oh, I need more red in that, I see that. Just a little bit more of that burnt sienna. Okay, and then we have a shape here and a shape here that comes down to this shape, and that meets down to that feather. More paint on my brush. When you're making little amounts, you don't get a lot of paint on your brush. Ooh, that's way too much paint. So I'm going to come in and just thin it out a little bit by just touching it with my brush and picking up that moist paint. So the auction link is on Facebook, but it's also going to be underneath this video. I'll put it back on Facebook too, underneath this video. It's a beautiful little painting, that pine grosbeak. I'm really pleased with it. Okay, what am I seeing here? I'm seeing, maybe this is what I'm seeing, but I don't know. Till I get it up there, I don't know what I'm seeing. There we go. Just need to put a little bit more paint on this. And spread it around so that it's less looking scratchy. Nope, that's too light. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's more like it. Yeah. Coming slowly, 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 building up little bit by little bit of what I'm seeing in here. Whew, that's way too light. Let's take some of that paint away and move it around. There we go. There we go. Keep moving it around and seeing where that form is and where... Yeah. Ooh! Flinging paintbrushes around. If we ever move from this house, this room is definitely going to need to be completely painted and sorted out. It's definitely a studio. Anyway, we just have a few more minutes, and I'm just going to keep on working on what I'm working on, building that form and that sense of where some light might be striking the feathers. If you if you're interested, I guess it would be interested, I have a newsletter at dancingravenstudio.ca, and I send it out kind of once a week. You get if you're on the weekly one, which is around the live stream, you get to see pictures that nobody else sees, and you get to see this, you know, the painting first. And you get to know what's happening, and I talk about what's going on in and around where I'm at. Mind you, I've just been doing videos, so I'm not really talking about a lot. Okay. And it needs to be a little lighter yet. Just like, whoa. Okay. Just a little subtle lightness here that I'm seeing. I just put little bits of paint on. And then it comes down here. Those feathers are not flat, so they wouldn't be completely, and they do have that reflected light happening. And bring it there. Bring that around and just touch it softly. Touch it. I think the thing I'm looking forward to, now that Omicron seems to be on the way down, that COVID is going down, is going back to seeing a movie or something and going out with my girlfriends to see a movie. I'm looking forward to that. Lots of things I'm looking forward to. Like traveling someday again. Bring that lightness up here. And then I kind of see it sort of strangling down this way too. So as you get further and further, you start to see those subtle nuances that make it sort of feel more realistic. And it really is just little bits of paint to get there. Okay. Oops, let's get some of that kind of combination of yellows. Right here, I see that it comes right up here, and the sun is definitely on this part of the feathers. And then what I see is it's not on that feather there, but it's a brighter, purer tone here, just on the edge. But it's not as bright as over here. So I'm just going to do a little edge thing here. And then I'm going to clean up that edge because I've made it a little bit too big. So I'm going to bring this okay. There. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. I'm going to spritz my paint, close it up. Well, today went really well. I'll continue working on this tonight after I finish my live stream here, and I'm going to then probably in the morning put on all of the if it's all done, I will put on the background gold leaf, the imitation gold leaf decoration, and see how it looks. I'm kind of excited about it. It's kind of fun to play. Thank you very much for being here while I'm playing. I really appreciate it. Give this video a like and sign up for my newsletter at Dancing Raven Studio. Subscribe to YouTube, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, bye.